Hello, folks. Dustin Zarni here, Democratic Elections Commissioner for Onondaga County. Welcome to my final Commissioner in a Car right before the election. This is our everything you need to know about election 2023. It's about 6 o'clock on election eve, 5:45 right now, actually, but getting home from work. I already visited a couple of polling sites today, and so this is the last thing I'm going to do before I spend a little time with my family and turn myself in go to bed. I haven't committed any crimes, but I'm going to turn myself into bed, because my day starts at 4 a.m. tomorrow, and it will go until 1 a.m. It is the longest election day in the country. New York State polls are open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday. And in Onondaga County, we have 145 polling sites that are opening. They all have our new poll print, on-demand poll print system. They all have our new clear ballot, clear cast go, and clear mark voting systems. We're going to have over 1,000 election inspectors that will be working tomorrow. We have about 600 iPads distributed throughout the county to help check in voters and print up your ballots. It's a massive undertaking, and it's much better when more people go to vote, because it is a lot of work that we have to do every year, whether one person shows up or 200,000 people show up or 300,000 people show up. So we are hopefully prepared. I believe we're as prepared as we can be, but there's always going to be issues. No election has ever run perfectly. There's always going to be some issues, but our staff at the Board of Elections, I believe, is one of the best. We do a lot with little, and I think we're going to be ready to go tomorrow. But let me get you some information of everything you need to know. First, where do you vote? If you I posted something earlier today. It's on our County Board of Elections website, or Facebook and Twitter, as well as the website. You can check your polling place by going to onvote.net. Right at the top in the red banner, it will tell you where to check. I also posted some pictures of places in Onondaga County where the polling place changed from last year. Now, we notified every voter in the county in May, individually by postcard, exactly where they were going to vote. Now, I know things get lost in mail. People forget about things. They think it's junk. I understand that. Unfortunately, we cannot mail out again. We only are required to mail once, and that is all we do. We changed these polling places back in March. We did a lot of media about that. We did a lot of posts on our socials about that, but that's why we're doing another big push now today, because this will let you know where your polling place is. By the way, if your polling place moved, it's right down the street. It's not like it's pretty far away from you. In fact, we did a lot of changes to move people closer to their polling places, and we did a lot of changes to alleviate lines, especially up in the North Syracuse area. And then a lot of polling place changes were because polling places either were sold. We had a couple churches be sold, and we also had a couple of places shut down and didn't want us to be there anymore. A lot of times, we do not pay for polling places. We are there at the goodness of their hearts, and if they're a private business, especially a church, then we can't use them. These polling places were in place for the June primary, so nothing has changed between June and November. That's somebody calling in, but not an emergency. So nothing has changed between March and November. March is when we set our polling places for the year. They've been on our website. You can look it up online. Postcards were mailed in May. We had our June primary. So people who participated in the June primary went to their correct polling places that will be in November. And of course, now we have our November general election. So check your polling place. Go to onvote.net. And by the way, if you're outside of Onondaga County, go to onvote.net. The link you click on, it goes to the state board website. It'll tell you your polling place wherever you are in New York State. We had a great early voting turnout. Obviously, if you're already early voted, you won't be able to vote on election day. We know who you are, and we have flagged your records, and you will not get a ballot printed for you. Absentee voting. We had about 4,070 absentee ballots returned before Sunday, which was the day that we will. That's the last day to be eligible for scanning and reporting on election night. About 3,900 of those will actually be part of the election night results. The other 170 of them, they are withheld because there is either something wrong with the ballot, or they're in a cure, or something needs to be looked at with those. Now, any absentee ballots that come in either today or tomorrow or throughout the next week, those ballots won't be counted until November 14th. We'll have more reporting on that, especially if there's a close race. But on our website, on our Facebook and Twitter feed, we will post the numbers for countywide, how many absentees are not going to be part of the election night results, and may be counted later if they're returned. So that's something to keep an eye on. But if you need an absentee, today was the last day to apply in person, but emergencies still happen, and we at the Board of Elections have the ability for both commissioners to agree to issue an absentee in the case of a medical emergency. Commissioner Sardo and I are of the same mind on that, is that if there's a medical emergency, you can get it. Of course, you got to be in the county. You got to be able to come and pick it up and vote that day. We're not going to mail it to you tomorrow. Or have somebody be able to come and pick it up and for you and vote that day. If you're in a situation like that, the best place is to call the Board of Elections at 315-435-VOTE. So that's election day, early, absentees. I covered all of that. Let's talk about election night results. Election night results are at onvote.net. And those election night results are a little bit of a change in a good way for election night. Our new system, our St. Smith system that we've had for years, that produces those fancy maps. Well, now with the clear ballot system, we have a way of breaking out an early voting total and an election day total, and of course the absentee total. So we have three totals on there that you'll be able to see. Starting at 9 o'clock, we will publish the absentees that have been scanned, the 3,900 or so absentees that have been scanned as of today. That will be, those results will be published on election night right at 9 p.m. or as close to 9 p.m. as possible. Then between the hours of 9 and 10 p.m., we'll be processing the early voting, which will take probably an hour. We have 9 sites, 2 machines in each site, 10 sites, 2 machines in each site, 9 days of early voting. That means there's 180 different results that we have to bring into our system. We believe that'll take the hour, but it's not like, and we'll be updating every 10 minutes or so at onvote.net, and you'll be able to watch that update. Then at around 10 o'clock, the sticks that are at the polling sites will start arriving at our Board of Elections. Now, that's normal. We actually don't have any internet where sticks are, where people are calling in numbers or emailing in numbers. These sticks have to be physically transported to our office. They are, and then we upload them. That means that, so the data is secure. That starts around 10 o'clock, and it always has started around 10 o'clock. Although in the past, we were able to get up the early voting sites close to 9 o'clock, maybe 9:30. It might take the whole hour because we have a new system and we're working on it. But there, won't be any delay in the final results. The final results usually get posted around 11 o'clock. It takes a lot of time for all these sticks to come in and be able to be processed. And we have a new system, and to keep the results fair and not releasing before election day, we've been consulting with state board, both sides of the state board of elections, and we are following their guidance. So this year it's a little different than past years, but I think you're going to get a lot more data, and I think you're going to like it. So I hope you will. Then after election day, we will have about 7 days for absentees to come in, and any absentees that do come in before November 14th that are postmarked November 7th or before, they will be counted on November 14th, and those totals will be added to our election night totals. So that's what's going on. And if you have an absentee and you haven't returned it yet, you can drop it off at any of our 145 polling sites or the Board of Elections before 9 p.m. tomorrow. Or you can put it in the mail. It's postage paid, but you have to make sure it gets postmarked tomorrow. So if it's later in the afternoon, a lot of those post office drop boxes, they won't be picking up until the next day, and then it won't count. So you have to get it in. If you haven't put it in the mail, I would get it to a Board of Elections polling site tomorrow, or have somebody drop it off for you. Anybody can drop them off for you if they're going to vote. So check that out, or down to our Board of Elections. So if you haven't turned your ballot in, tomorrow's the day to do that, either by postmark or in person. All right, David, my friend David's in the comment section with a couple of unserious questions and one serious one about former President Donald Trump. I'm in election mode, and this is the election this year. I'm not going to spend any time on the former guy today. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that later on. I don't even know what he said on the civil trial. I've been busy all day. So, but one last pitch to you. A lot of times people don't want to vote in these local elections. They don't know who they're voting for. They're unsure that an election is happening. It's not the president. It's not Congress. It's not sexy. A lot of these times people are not on TV because they're small. They don't have a lot of money. And I just want to implore you to spend some time tomorrow if you're considering to vote, and remember that road you're driving on as you're driving home, that road is paved by your tax dollars. Those tax dollars are spent by your local elected officials. Your apartment or your house, the zoning that determines what you can do in your own house, or whether your landlord is fixing your apartment in the correct way with code enforcement, that is also controlled by your local elected officials. And finally, your sales tax, the property taxes that you pay, these are also controlled by local elected officials. So your local elected officials will have more of a say on your daily life than president or Congress or anything like that. So tomorrow's the day to go vote for them. And there are, even though the Syracuse paper did an editorial a few weeks back talking about that this is a mostly uncontested election, that's not really true. There are uncontested races at the county legislature level. Absolutely true. It's one of the lowest it's been in a while. But countywide, we have 6 countywide races. There are Democrats and Republicans being elected in both of those. They're all competitive, and we've seen Democrats and Republicans both win county races in odd years and in even years. You also have races for Syracuse School Board, which are contested. There are Republicans running for school board and Democrats. That's citywide inside the city of Syracuse. In the towns of DeWitt, Manlius, Pompey, Cicero, Clay, Lysander, Geddes, Onondaga, all of those towns, Tully, all of those towns, Skinny Atlas, sorry, forgot about some. All of those towns have Democrats and Republicans vying townwide. In Salina, you have a hot race between a conservative and a Republican for the supervisor, but in 2 of the 4 districts, you have Democrats running against Republicans. There are races for you to vote on in every corner of this county. So go out there, make your voice heard. It's your last chance. If you're getting ready for that presidential election, this year is the year to get involved, because the people who you elect this year may be your next congressman, may be your next senator, may one day run for president. And if you're putting them in office now, or by sitting out, allowing other people to put them in office, you may not agree with where they're going to go. So it's important for you to have a voice. So please, make me busy tomorrow. Go out there, cast your vote. And I hope, the election administrator's prayer is high turnout and wide margins. And I really hope that we'll see that in Onondaga County, but we'll be prepared for anything. All right, get out there, make your voice heard. I'm honored to be one of your elections commissioners, and I can't wait for this election. Bye-bye.